Board special session of order tonight at 6:32, and with that, we'll take roll, please.
Thank you. Chair Sheldon.
Present.
Commissioner Page.
Present.
Commissioner Kendall.
Here.
Commissioner Linehan. Here. Commissioner Pippin.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
And Vice Chair Martinez is excused this evening.
Okay, thank you. So now I'll have us all stand to the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and with that, we're going to move into our consent agenda, which contents of such are two items. That's principally the agenda for tonight's federal second agenda and the approval of the minutes of the April 3rd URA board meeting. And we can consider this the single motion. Minutes and agenda are attached to the packet. If there's no discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda for the North Plains Regional Agency Board special meeting for April or June 5th, 2023. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none opposed, the motion is carried. Thank you. This will take us into item 5. I know we have a few folks in the audience tonight, but I presume it's for the topic of the next meeting and not the topic of this meeting, which is public comment. Do we have any public comment, Lori, or anything that's requested online?
Nothing for this meeting. No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. We don't have that. We're going to dispatch at number 5, public comment. We'll roll right into our new business. Under new business, we basically are considering resolution 2234 of the URA or URA of the Urban Renewal Agency for adoption of a biennial budget 2023-2025 that's been recommended to us by the budget committee. And there is a in the packet, there is the material in the packet. If there are any discussions, we can open up those discussions now. Is there anything that staff has?
Thanks, Chair Sheldon. Nothing for me from the staff perspective. Budget committee heard this URA budget in, did we do 2 meetings? I forget. We did. Okay, 2 meetings, one's in April and one in May. No changes at the second meeting, so what you see is what the budget committee did.
I believe, unless there's questions, I can entertain those. I'll certainly open the floor for that discussion. If necessary, I would entertain a motion to adopt the 2234-URA, which is the biennial budget for the URA. And with that, basically a declaration to collect the tax increment financing for revenue for 2023-2025.
I move to approve resolution 2022-34 to adopt the URA budget, make appropriations, and declare to collect the tax increment revenue for the 2023-2025 fiscal biennium.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2234-URA, which is an adoption of the 2023-2025 biennial URA budget for the city of North Plains. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Hearing none opposed, the motion is carried. And I don't believe we have any other topics before us, so there's no other business before us tonight. And with that, we're going on. We do have one topic. Let's go ahead with that.
Yeah, before we adjourn out of this meeting, thought we, since we're here as a URA, give a couple updates on some projects. I'll start with the property on Commercial Street, and then maybe Bill can give you a little update on the Winco opportunity area, because we have a meeting this week about that. And we've been meeting with the proposed developer on that. With the house on Commercial Street across from City Hall, the 30-day due diligence period came and went. That was in May, early May. We had the environmental analysis done on the property at that time. No big surprises came out of that environmental assessment. Now there's a caveat that it's difficult to do a lot of, site visual work on the outside of the property due to the property coverage of a lot of items there. But the environmental consultant was there, did that, and noted no big gaps or deficiencies other than difficult to see. She did do a desktop analysis, which is standard for a phase 1 environmental assessment, which, looking for underground storage tanks and things of that nature, looking at previous use that may be detrimental to any development. So the 90-day closing period should be around the July 4th weekend coming up. I did talk to the realtor at the 60th anniversary party last week and asked how things have been going with the current owner and her tenants. He said things are moving along there. And that he hasn't checked in for a while and needing to do that. So that's where that property is. Along those lines, while we had a consultant doing some environmental assessment of that property, we took the time to have her also analyze several other sites in our downtown that were part of the downtown plan, looking at potential opportunity sites. Those sites even included existing properties like the City Hall and the library. So she did kind of a screening of those properties, TVF&R, Shiley's area over there behind the, next to the kitty corner from the senior center, and the mural buildings as well. We went and looked at the mural buildings, the green buildings last week, and then she had an interview with Mr. Van Dyke just this morning, kind of getting some of the historical information on that. Just because those buildings are a site of opportunity in our downtown plan, he was open with talking with her and getting some information there. So if there's ever an opportunity, or if there's ever development potential there, we kind of at least cross the box doing phase 1 environmental assessment. A lot of the phase 1 can be reimbursed by a business working grant. So that's something we'll pursue, is getting those costs recovered and reimbursed. So that's kind of a rundown on downtown properties, especially in light of the downtown plan being adopted. We want to at least get a head start, combine some of the environmental work that we had ongoing. Any questions with that?
No, what's our next steps on Red House?
Well, the 90-day closing period will be about a month from now, in around the July 4th weekend. So, but the earnest money's been paid, all those steps are taken care of. We did the due diligence, at least looking at the environmental assessments, the other title documents.
And I understood that. Is there any regrets to the composition of the deal?
Oh, sorry for my misunderstanding. No, nothing has changed regarding the agreement or any place.
Good.
I have one question. Is that we finalize that when the tenants are gone?
The property doesn't close until it is free and clear.
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask a final call if there's any further topics for discussion. And if not, Bill.
Pardon me, Chair Sheldon. Just a quick update about the Winco opportunity areas. So we did have a Zoom meeting with Red Bull recently to just get a quick update. And the big finding, well, they're continuing to work on planning the project. They did get different bids on costs for from general contractors, and they got a kind of a variety of different cost bids. None of them marked significant cost reductions below what they were hoping to get. They got one that what seemed to promise something interesting, but at the same time by a firm that didn't have a lot of experience with projects like this, so it's kind of a mixed bag. So given all that, they're still working on the project and the plan to try to get things whittled down in terms of costs and complications. But Callie, from Rumble is going to be meeting with us on Wednesday when representatives of the state come and hear about the project. And we'll talk about things like the environmental assessment and some costs that, for whatever reason, are complicating some of the issues that are, for whatever reason, complicating some of the costs, and how the state might be able to partner on some of those things. So they're willing and moving forward on planning it, but we just kind of we're down to kind of identifying gap and figuring out how to make that go away, so to speak.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilor Page.
If they are not fiscally able to afford it, instead of us lowering prices to meet their threshold, do we have a backup purchaser?
Well, we don't have, Councilor Page, we do not have a backup purchaser. We would have to go through a new process, a new kind of competitive process to do that. But we didn't identify a second, and it's been enough time has lapsed that we would definitely have to go through a whole new process to do that.
Before this was made, where we make more accommodations, we have a chance to review that.
More, I'm sorry, more accommodations regarding.
Before we have a chance, before they say, oh, we can't do it because costs have gone so much and we were not prepared for it. Can you know the price X? Before that happens, can we discuss that?
We're already looking at costs that assume the underlying land value is nothing. That's how much costs went up over the last 2 years that they're dealing with. So that's why we're at this point meeting with the state. Their cost bids that came in on just site clearing were in the millions of dollars for no apparently provable or real reason. And that's why we want to meet with Business Oregon and to see if the Brownfields program can get involved in this, because some of the costs involved just reflect an amazing amount of uncertainty that, based on our process so far, shouldn't be there. But here we are.
So we will have a chance to review the recommendations that they have for the prices. All right, thanks.
Absolutely.
There's a bit of certainty back in the market, so that should help things. It's going to take a few months to calm down. That's not meaning it's going to turn around quickly, but I would think with demand slowing in some of the commercial sectors, it should improve things as we go forward. At least that's my understanding. So is there any additional topics?
Chair Sheldon, from a URA perspective, those were the two that we wanted to go over. Okay. District and
Okay, there are no further questions. Then I will adjourn the meeting at 6:46.